Hi, you're welcome to today's session. I can see educational gist. How are you? All right, Precious, how are you? I salute you. Happy Sunday to you. Drop your name and where you are joining from in the comment section. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I can see Silver, my guy. Silver, happy Sunday to you. I need us to be very active tonight because we'll be doing something amazing. The course I made available to us is um is a guide to show you the how to. Basically, what we're doing in the course is how to, and I've also added the live sessions where we'll be talking about some of the things I didn't put in the course, right? The goal of this training is to prepare you for a global game. Yeah, so you need to know some of these things. So information architecture is one of the things you need to know. I know some persons are already done with their course and are probably working on their project right now, but then let me quickly show you something so you understand what I'm saying. Well, I'll stop sharing. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Hi guys. All right, happy Sunday to you. Let me just share my entire screen so you see what I'm trying to talk about. Yeah, I'll share my screen right now. Let me just do no, I don't want to do entire screen. Let me share Google. Yeah, I'll just share. This is somebody's work on drip on Behance. Behance is one of the things I'm going to teach in course of the training. You'll find it in the course. So this is a project presentation. It's called a case study. You understand? This is called a case study. A case study. All right. So if you look at this case study, let's analyze it. At the end of your program, right, when you do your first project, you'll be required to prepare something like this. This is called the case study, where you will talk about the project. This is an agricultural project, right? It's not a ride sharing application, it's an agricultural app. So we'll talk about what your project is, the name, whatever name you have chosen for your ride sharing application. This is a case study presentation. You'll talk about the project overview. You'll talk about your design process, right? The empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. You talk about your project timeline. This thing you are doing, you want to come up with something concrete when you are done with your project, so that when you show prospective employers um, what you've done in the past, it's gonna make sense to them, right? That okay, you know what you are doing. So let's keep going. We're analyzing this person's work. You will talk about your problem statement. So you see those problem statements we are highlighting in course of our user research, right? You will need them at this point. Then you talk about your proposed solution, which is the selected ideas, what you are trying to do to provide users with blah blah blah. Then this is the user research presentation. Those images you got from your Miro, you are going to do something like this at the end of your project. So this is your empathy map, what users say, what they think. This is just another kind of representation. This is a case study. You understand? So as you keep checking out this is user persona, and you can see what this person is doing, right? This is the information architecture. There is no user flow in this person's work. Even if we did user flow in our last class, you will need to do user flow for your own um, case study, right? And you won't stop at user flow. You also work on your information architecture. So if you are watching, if you're in this class and you've not seen our last class on user flow, I'm going to make that video available, right, in the WhatsApp group. So when we're done with information architecture, we'll now get into low fidelity sketches, right? And like I've always said, every class we are doing is leading to the next class. That's for our live session, and we'll need all of these things when we are doing our case study. So right, for today, if I keep going, you will see this is the low fidelity. We'll talk about this in case you started your assignment already, or your project rather. It's not a big deal, right? You can create your low fidelity and do some of these things afterwards. This is the user interface for these girls. It's not I would like to say it's not spectacular, right? This person is new to UI design also, but you can see what she's able to do. Look at her name. She's a lady. In case you are wondering, if you're a lady here, I'm expecting the most from you. Look at her name. God's Grace is from Nigeria. She has gotten 38 project views and all of that. So you can see her work is looking like graphic design. But then we expect more from you guys. But aside the app, you will see the level of work, the quality of work she has put in, especially in her use of color, right? So it's amazing. I'm using her work as a reference because I like the design, right? So this is what you'll be doing at the end of your project, at the end of your project. But for today, we'll be talking about information architecture. How do you come up with the information architecture of your design? How do you come up with the information architecture of your design? That's what I want to teach you tonight. So I'd like you to pay close attention, right? Follow everything I'll be saying, and trust me, you are going to get it right. So let me get quickly into our course for today. But you've seen where we're going to use it, right? I believe if you've seen it, just type I've seen it. So I'm showing you all of this so that you understand why we are learning some of the things we are learning. And like I said, in this program, you'll be doing two projects. The first one is the general project which you are working on, which is a ride sharing application, right? The goal of the first project is to build you, right, so that you can understand design from end to end, right? Most persons that say they are UI designer, they only know how to design screens, just like we did in the free class. You design your WhatsApp screen, you design your Google interface, and probably you think you already know. You don't know UI design. You don't. You don't know UI design. So what makes me feel that you know UI design is if you are able to get a project brief like I've sent to us in the course, you're able to understand it and you're able to design from the login screen to the entire flow of the project, right? That makes you a UI designer. It means if they give you any work at any point, you should be able to just follow the same process and you get your stuff done, right? So the training is setting you up for the global game, like I've said. So if you can do this first project correctly under my supervision, you will now be able to do your next project, which is something you will choose by yourself. If you choose to work on another application, fine. If you choose to work on a website, fine. We'll be doing website as we keep going, right? So let's quickly get into what we have for today. And yeah, it's going to be nice. So today we'll be talking about information architecture. Just like user flow, like we studied user flow, I will explain that. I like that question. What is the difference between user flow and information architecture? That's how we're learning today. So just like we said in the last class for user flow, let me go back to user flow. So user flow is the paths taken by a typical user on a website, right? Is the path, and we section our user flow into actions, screens, decision, and direction. If you've not followed the class, go and watch that video. But when it comes to information architecture, I keep telling people that UI design is just like when you want to build a house, right? You are going to get an architect. You get an architect to draw the plan of your house. Then when that plan is ready, you are going to give that plan to an engineer, yes, to develop it and bring it to life. So when it comes to product building, UI designers are like the architect, right? So and now we're trying to talk about information architecture. So information architecture is basically the structure of the website or application. User flow talks about the journey. See it, user flow is the path taken. So if let's say I want to book a ride, what I'm going to do to book that ride is my user flow, right? But information architecture is talking about the structure, the blueprint of an application or a website. So information architecture is how we organize the structure of all the screens, pages, and features of the website, right? So that users can find it easily, and do what they need, you understand, and also move through the app smoothly. That's what information architecture is. So it's the structure. User flow looks like the action that will be carried, while information architecture focuses basically on the structure of the application. So I'll give you some examples. So before I go to my example, I'll say something. I want you to think about it like when you are designing the layout of a building, right? If you've seen an architectural plan, not the one that is like 3D where you see colors. I mean the layout, where you will see toilet, you will see parlor, you will see doors, you will see windows, just the sketch. So that layout of the building, you understand, to make sure that every room or feature of the house is in the right place. That kind of plan, that's what information architecture is. So let me give you an example. So this is what it looks like. We're not using this, right? But I had to bring this. This is like a ride sharing application information architecture, right? So this is the structure. Remember, user flow had to do with action, decision, direction, and screens, right? But information architecture is just working with screens only. User flow has action, screens, direction, decision, but information architecture is using just screens. So if you, this is the right chain application. So we're structuring, this is what I'm going to explain this, but I don't want to jump step because I have notes for you guys. Let's work with this note. But I'm just showing this as sample. This is another sample. So the goal of tonight's class is for us to know what information architecture is, know how to prepare our information architecture, and know how to do the diagram. So we'll be achieving these three things in course of the class. Number one is to know what it is, right? Number two is to know how to prepare your own information architecture. Then number three is to know how to come up with your design. So coming up with the design on Figma is different from preparing it, right? Coming up with the design is different from preparing it. So the three things we want to achieve in this class is, first of all, you need to know what it is, just like I've explained the difference. So just take note that the difference between information architecture and user flow has decision, has actions, and we presented them with different shapes. It has direction and it has screens, right? But information architecture has only screens. So it's talking about the structure. Structure. Somebody type structure. Type structure. If you've gotten to this point, structure of the website. You understand? I want to be sure we've understood to this point. If I go to the next point, which is how to prepare it, I need to understand that it's structure. And I'm giving you an example already. So you can see this website. This is the information architecture of a website. Let's even use this example. So this is the ride sharing application, for instance. So authentication talks about your login and sign up. So there's going to be authentication screens, right? There will be home page screen. Remember I said this has to just do with screens. They are not talking about actions and decision making here. It's just screens. So we have authentication. Under authentication, we have sign up, login, forgot password, right? When you click on, when you launch the app and you get to home, that's the home page, you will see a place where a rider can request for ride. If you have boats, when you launch your boat app, when you're on the home page, you see where to put in your address, put in your pickup location, put in where you are going to. That's all of this stuff. And there are some other things, right? And I will explain all of this, right? But I'm just giving you the example. So if I continue explaining this, it means I'm skipping process. So let's go back to, now that we've seen the sample, we've known that it talks about how we organize and structure. See, let me even make this bold and blue. I think yellow will pop out more. Let me give it yellow. YELL. Do you know you can type the name of the color here and it's going to just give you. So let me make that bold. So the difference, that guy that asked the difference, information architecture has to do with only screen pages, feature, all of them, they are screens. They are not talking about actions or decision. So it has to do with the structure of all the screens, pages, and features of your application, right? So what are the steps to prepare your information architecture? What are the steps you need to take? So the first step is for you to understand your product goal, right? If you know what you are trying to do, some persons, it's sad to say this, but I need to say it. Some persons, right? Okay, let me not say, I don't want to discourage anybody. But some persons prepare their what's it called? Their Google Forms just because they watch the video on how to do that, right? But the truth is, for you to even prepare your Google Form, you need to understand your project goal. What is this project all about? What are we trying to achieve? And it's simple. We want to talk about if I distracting me on this chat. We want to talk about the project goal is creating an application for ride booking, right? So once you understand the project goal and what you want to probably improve in your own version of the application, because ride booking app is not a new thing in Nigeria. So if you are setting up a product in that aspect, you are either trying to bring in some innovation in your own product, or you just want to come and share the market profit, right? So let's say Bolt is servicing 1 million Nigerians. It's more than that. They have more than 1 million users. You now say, okay, you want to come and take some shares. That's why you're creating your own, right? Or you are trying to improve your own, right? So if you know the goal of your product, it's going to be easy to come up with your information architecture. So in this case, the goal of our product, or of course, is you need to understand what problem is your ride sharing app solving. You understand who are your primary users? We have riders and drivers. Then what are the key actions users need to perform in your application? So what will they do exactly? So ride booking is, let me even find out what are some of the actions users will perform in your application. Booking of ride is one of it, so that nobody will say that one again. Tell me some of the action you think in your application users will perform. Users will sign up, right? That's one of the activity that will go on there. Somebody should type what you think a user will do. So when you understand the goal of your product, preparing your information architecture, or IA, will not be a challenge. You guys are not responding. What are the actions? What are the key actions? We did that in our user flow, right? What actions will they carry out? They will set up their account. Yes. What else? They will book a ride. Let me type my own so that you know. They will log in and sign up. Yes. They will set up payment method. When you know all of these things, it's going to be easy to prepare your user flow, right? So when you know all of these things, it's going to be easy to set up your user flow. Next thing you need to know when it comes to preparing user information architecture is you need to list out all the feature. This drawing you are seeing here, this example, we listed out all of these things before drawing it. Oh, you need to list out all the features. These are the steps. We've known what it is, what information architecture is. Now we're trying to know how to come up with our own. If you understand this very well, when we'll be doing our next project, you'll be able to prepare your information architecture seamlessly. I'm giving you the steps. First, you need to know the goal of your product, which involves what problem your product is solving. Secondly, who are your primary users? Who are your primary users? Then thirdly, what are the actions they will carry? So if it's an e-commerce app for example, excuse me, let me just take water. Yeah, I like this. I like what Hope is saying, or Precious. They will type the destination of where they are going to. So these are some actions they will take, right? So once you know your actions, the next thing is you will list out all the features of your application. You will list them out. So for the ride, that there's going to be ride requests. You need to brainstorm everything your app needs to fulfill those actions, right? If I want them to do in-app payments, I'm going to set up a wallet. If I want them to do scheduled booking, right? You will need to know all of those things. I think I missed one feature that is very important. There's a particular feature you need to know at this your beginning, at the start of your journey. I'll call that um let me call that step 4. Let me quickly type that. So number 4, step 4, STP. You need to do proper user research. Proper product, not user. Product research. Product research is different from user research. PRODUCT You need to do proper product research. Search for your competitors. Don't start designing. If it's an existing product, SEARCH, for your competitors. So when I want to design an application, right, what I'm going to do, if it's an existing app, we call it UI research, not UX. UX research comes before. This is not UX research. UX research is you searching for trying to understand your users, right? But UI research talks about searching for similar products. So when I get a project, what I do, I think I thought about UI research in the course. You'll find it there. So you go on Dribble, you go on, in fact, I download applications. So I'll just go on Google, search for ride booking applications, right? And I'm going to, when I search for the ride booking application, I'm going to now download their app, open it, sign up, see what the flow looks like. I'll see their onboarding screen, I'll see their sign up screen, I'll see their home page, a whole lot of things, right? Once I'm able to do that, that's called proper research. Yes, UI landing is one website. You can drop some of this information in the WhatsApp group. Once you're able to do proper UI research, right, you would once you're able to do proper UI research, you will now have a catalog of UI reference, right? So if it's a ride-sharing application now, just like now, when I was preparing for this class, before I was able to come up with this information architecture, I had to check my boat app, check some things that are in my boat app. If you have Uber, check what Uber interface looks like, check what their homepage looks like, check what their menu button looks like, their navigation bar, check all of these things. So doing proper UI research is going to help you structure um what's it called, structure your information architecture very well. So when you do proper UI research, you will now know all these features. That's this section 2. So once you're able to do proper UI research, this should even come before. So as you understand the goal of the product, next step is you now list out the core feature you think from a user flow. Then you now do proper research, check out your competitors. Then the next step afterwards is where step 3 comes in. This also be step 4, but I can't really start arranging this thing right now. So the next step and the final step is you will categorize the features as they relate to each other, right? So the category is into 2 parts. See what I said, organize feature into logical category. We have 2 types of category: main components, or main category rather, main category, and sub category. So when you know your main category and subcategory, it's going to work perfectly. Let me give you an instance on how you can find out your main category Subcategory, I should have gotten a screenshot. Do I have any design here? Let me quickly get a screenshot of my boat app. Oh, there's no time for that. Let me see if I can get it online. Give me a second. I want to get the app homepage. Yeah, I've seen it. This one I'm seeing is not really clear. I need something that this one is showing me the menu. Just give me a second. I'll find it. That one is showing half. Oh, God. So once you know the main category, learn this thing I'm teaching you. Once you know the main category, okay, let me use. I didn't see both, but let me work with this one. It's like a shopping app. If I paste it here like this, paste here. So if you look at this application now, you will see home, you will see search, you will see this is probably history, purchase history, then you see profile. So these are the main categories, right? Remember, we're focusing on screens right now. We're structuring how the screen will look like. So once you've known all the features, right? You've done your research, you've known all the features. Next thing is you categorize them. You draw a list of all your features, then you categorize them after getting it. So for the home page, you notice that we have different cards of restaurant meal. So if you click on search, it will take you somewhere else. I wish I have the search here. Okay, I want to guess that if I click on search, it will bring me to this page, for instance. Then if I click on this next one, it should bring me to this. So these are if I click on the search now and it brings me to this page, I'll see my search bar, right? And I'll see some other items. Where do you want to order? This is address and location and all of that. So your main category is what you have on your nav bar. You get. So if there's another menu here, if you check your boat, I think there's a menu here that if you click on it, let me see if I can find boats. I really want to use boats since that's what we're working on. It will make more sense if I can get boat app. Oh God. Oh my God. All right, I've seen something, but it's a GIF. I hope I'll be able to copy it. Copy image. Let me see. Let me see. It's a moving image. Okay, look at it now. So if you see both app now, can you see this menu? So when we're talking about the major categories, right? Main categories and subcategories. If I click on this menu, it's going to open up and I'll see some items here like to move. Then this is the search. I think this was the old interface, but right now they have the nav bar down here, right? So the main category, let me show you my list. See the list of my items right now. So these are the list of actions I'll be taking: authentication, home when they log in, to book a ride, ride process, payments, profile, ratings and review, notification, support, FAQs, and all that. So what we have under each of them is the subcategory, right? So how do we do our information architecture? Let me now show you how to do it. So see this example now. So you can see start from your home page, right? Or you can start from anywhere, registration or login. These people start from registration. So once you register and log in, you will find yourself in the dashboard. There's a fitness menu, there's offer, there's activity, there is more. More is like this button I just showed you guys on both, right? This is more. When you click here, you now see more menu and all of that. Then this is just like an example. So we're structuring main category and subcategories, right? So you just choose an entry point. If you don't have a particular entry point to choose, you can just use the name of the app, just like they did here. So ride sharing application, once you enter inside the app, you do your authentication, you move to home page, you do right process, how to do payment and all of that. So what I have here is as a function or as a result of what I'm being able to list here. So the process is, once you've known what you want to do, list out all the actions based on your research, based on your assumption, based on your UI research and all of that. List them out. List them out. Once you're able to list them out, it will be easy to form your information architecture, right? If you are following, type I'm following. If you are following at this point, type I'm following. Type I'm following. I need you to type I'm following. I want to get into how to do your information architecture now, how to build it. We've talked about what it is. We've talked about how to prepare it, right? Now we want to talk about how to design it. But if you have question, type. If you have, let me take 1 minute to take question on what we've discussed so far. If you are stuck at what I've said, you are confused, just ask question. I want to use the next 30 minutes to design. We've been talking. If there's no question, I'll just move on. I guess there's no question. Everybody is following. Amazing. All right, so let's continue. So once you are able to see the step that I gave you, understand the goal of your product, understand who your users are, right? Understand what your product is solving. Then once you've understood that, understand the key actions. Is the actions that the users will carry that will form your application. Take for instance, if I want to book a flight now and there is an application for flight booking, the action I will carry is I will search for the flight, available flight. I will search for the available day I'm going. So I will use the calendar to book ahead and all of those stuff, right? Those are the actions. So once you understand the action, you know who your users are. The next thing is you list out the core features. In course of listing this out, probably you don't really know everything that should be in the app. That's why you need to do your product research. Search for your competitors. So once you've searched for them, you've seen all the things you need, add them to this list, right? Once you are done listing, the next thing is you group them as they relate to each other, right? So let's not get our hands dirty. So how do you do this kind of design? Somebody reached out to me after the class, our user flow class, and she was like, she feels FigJam works better for her, right? When it comes to doing stuff that has this connection, there is a tool for it. Miro does it perfectly, right? FigJam is similar to Miro, it does the same thing. But the reason why I'm asking us to do our design in Figma is because when we are doing that that case study I showed us, right? All these things we are building right now, we'll put them together in our case study. So copying it from outside Figma, right? So especially this information architecture and all of that might be challenging, right? So in order to get these connections, right, you won't normally get it on Figma. So I'll teach you how to get these connections from FigJam and bring it into your Figma design. So this is just like something we'll be doing, right? I won't do all of them, but I'll start. During Nigerian school is now we'll do example and allow you take responsibility. So let me just let me show you Figma. I'll stop sharing my screen now. I'll share my entire screen. So okay, let me present my entire screen. So how do you get your FigJam? Confirm if you can see my screen. Confirm if you can see my screen. Confirm. So we're about to go to the most important part of this training. I've told you what it is, how to do it. Right now, I want to really do it. So Confirm if you can see my screen. Confirm if you can see my screen. Difference between wireframe and information architecture. We'll be doing wireframe in our next live class, right? Information architecture is the structure, so you can see my screen, right? So what you want to do is you go to your Figma. I'll go to Figma like this, Figma, figma.com. Once you go to figma.com, right, rather than click on, I don't know, some person's Figma, if your own is not like this, you will see new design, new fig jam, and all of that, right? This is it. Okay, these are templates. So if I come to create, I will see design, fig jam, slide. Some person's interface might not show, like it might be different from it, but just look for where you can find fig jam. See fig jam here. Once I click on fig jam, this is what the interface looks like. FigJam is a whiteboard. We use it for brainstorming. We use it to do our something like my presentation. Those empathy stuff you guys did, right? You can do it on FigJam. It's just similar to Miro. Yeah, these are new features. So I want to get, if I draw something like this now, for instance, and I type RID, write application, right? And I alternate that to duplicate. Let me just bring it here. If I want to connect this, because of its structure we're talking about, right? How each screen connect to each other. Remember, the emphasis on information architecture is the screens. Unlike user flow that has actions, decision, screen, and even direction. Information architecture is focused on only screens and probably direction, how it moves. So we use our connector. Look at this connector to connect these items like this, right? But because I don't want to do this thing on, if you want to do it here, fine. Let me even check something. So let's say you are done doing and I do like this, I can copy it. For that lady, I know you are in this class. If you are that lady that reached out to me, type I'm the one. Type I'm the one. So I can copy this, right? And just come over to my Figma and paste it. Okay, it works. It works perfectly. So if you want to do it on FigJam and later bring it here, fine. If you want to do it on your Figma environment, right, to save you the stress of bringing later, fine. Whatever works for you. For Figma, you don't need to. Sorry, for FigJam, you don't need to do auto layout and all that. Just the box will allow you type inside and all of that. But if I want to do it on Figma, what I'll just do is I'll go to my FigJam, right? Go to FigJam. Where is FigJam? Where is FigJam? Okay, this is FigJam. I'll just draw a connector like this. Once I do that, I'll select it, click on it like that, or over around it, copy it, Control C, go to my Figma and paste it here. So I'm going to use the connector will now work the way it's supposed to work on Figma, right? So let's now build. I did this just like practice before this class to refresh my memory, right? But I didn't put any content. So looking at what we have here, which is our structure. So I'll just get my hands dirty now. So the first thing is I'll use ride sharing application information architecture, right? Which is this first screen. So I'll get my text. I've brought my connector to my Figma, which is going to work just as I want it to work. I'll type RIDE SHAR. Okay, so I'm going to do Shift A to put it on auto layout. So FigJam is saving us all of this stress, but it's not a problem to me. I'm used to this environment. So I'll change this to black, like 0. Then I'm going to give this a white fill. There's no fill in the container. I've added auto layout with Shift A. Auto layout makes your frame responsive. I'll give you white, and maybe I'll just decorate this guy a bit. Give it a corner radius of like 16. It's too much. Let's do 8. So all these things I'm doing now, if you are doing, or let me even check if that lady has responded. She didn't say anything. There's somebody in this class that reached out to me. Okay, let's continue. So I will do that corner. I've given it 8. I think 8 works perfectly for me. If I want to give it a stroke, I can just do that. You can see the black stroke, right? I'll make it gray, so you just have that pop. You can see it, right? So this is right sharing application. I can name my frame content, CONTNT. So this is it, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'll do authentication. Under authentication, I'll put login, forgot password screen. Remember, when I click on login, there's going to be a login screen. If I click on sign up, there'll be a sign up screen. If I click on forgot password, there'll be a forgot password screen. Then if I click on sign up, right, for drivers, there's verify identity, right? Somebody might be asking, how do I come about all of these things? If you do proper UI research, right, you can know the screens your app should have. Proper UI research will help you do that. You understand? I also make use of AI, but it's not time to teach you AI. I need you to use your brain first. You understand? Maybe much later, when we have advanced, we'll talk about AI. You get? So let's continue. So I have my right here. Next screen is authentication. I'll just bring this. I want to use this space to do my design. I'll bring it here like that. Use alternate to duplicate. I'll call this authentication screen, AUTHENTICATION, authentication. What's the next? Remember, it's 2 categories, main categories and subcategories. So I think I should just work on all the main categories first. Next is the home screen. Once you've logged in, right? The home is another main category. I'll duplicate this with alternate and call this home, HOME. I want it to be the same size. So what's the size? This is 33, 133, right? Let me use even numbers. I like using even numbers. I'll do 150. Then I'll do 150 here again. Instead of 66, it's set to hug. That's why it's hugging. I'll do 150. This is home. Next one is write process. Ensure your this thing is listed properly. Don't just copy my own. No. RIDE, write booking. Write process, CSS. Then which other one do we have? We have payments, payment screen. So if we're building the structure of our UI, you understand? So with this information architecture, right? If you are working with a big company, you can present this to stakeholders, and they imagine, you give them an overview of what the application will look like. You understand? That's why we're doing it. Just like the architectural plan, you will not just start building on your land without proper architectural plan, right? Profile, rate, notification, right? I think there'll be a menu button that some of all these systems, they are under profile. So I'm not going to use all of them. You understand? So I'll just do right sharing process. Even this right sharing process looks like I should have it um, in my home screen. So let me just do profile here, PROFILE. So I'll just do that. What is the subcategory of this? Before I do, let me just arrange all of this. I'll highlight like that. Then what's the spacing between them? 23. I will give it like, let's say 50. I think 50 is good. Then I'll bring it to the middle. When you see this red line, it means it's aligned to the middle. But now you should be taking note of all these small things, right? So what are the subcategories here? If I want to give it a color like these guys did, makes sense. If you want to do that, to show that this is the main section, right? So I can just do something like subcategory. I'll bring this down. Okay, I know what to name these guys now. Instead of content, let me do main. Maincategory. Okay, I'm following. I want to share just that screen. All right, so let's continue. So I'll make this main category. Let me just copy the. You can copy the text. Control C. I'll come here, paste it. Control V. Click outside. Double click the name again. Control V. Press enter. Double click this one. Control V. Press enter. So these are my main content. Remember, this is example. Some of you now, you will now use my video and do your own assignment. Please ensure your list is everything that should be on your app. This list here, you can use my own, but ensure from your user flow, you understand everything. In fact, your user flow will even make this very easy for you, because you just focus on the screens in your user flow and you're able to categorize, okay, which one is main, which one is subcategory, and all of that. So I'll just remember, I've copied my connector from FigJam. So for the authentication, we'll have sign up screen, SIGNUP. Let's do sign up screen. We'll have login screen. We'll bring this down. To show that it is subcategory, I might just reduce it a bit. So since the main one is 150, I can just do this as 130 to show that variation. So I'll call this login screen. Once you've gotten this list, what we are doing now is just designing the information. Once this is set, your work is like 80% done. You understand? If this is not correct, if this is not accurate, it's going to be a problem. So now we've seen how this is done. Login, login. Then there can be forgot password. When you are signing up to, under authentication, we can have OTP, right? This is forgot password, FORGOTPASSWRD. I can do this like that and centralize it like that. So this is forgot password. You can have OTP, that's verification if you want. VERIC, verification. Or you call it OTP, one-time password, and all of that. So that's for this part. So how do we connect it? We'll say from the right chain application, you can set up your this thing first. So what I'll do next, now I'll get this my connector. We'll do something tricky now, because this is not FigJam. Please, if you feel FigJam is better for you, stay there. You've seen what I did there already, right? So, but if you want to use Figma, you just, that connector you brought to the Figma Canva, press Ctrl C to copy it. Then I'll come here, right click and paste it here. Then the connector has two sides, right? The source and the destination. So this is where it's coming from, and this arrow part is where it's going to. Before I even start, I can choose to format this guy. It's currently set to the weight is 4. I can choose to reduce it depending on what I want to do. If I want to maintain that color, is fine. If I want to make it a dotted line, I'll click on this advanced stroke settings. See, solid. If I want to, let's say I want to work with dash line, I can use this. If I want to work with solid line, so I can use, but I'm going to work with solid line. I'm just showing you this in case you choose to do otherwise, right? So I'll take this the source. You see that it has connected to that. It's having that what's it called, FigJam function. I'll take the destination and bring it this way like this. You understand? You see as how I've connected that. Let me even do that variation. I want this to be obvious that is my main category. So instead of giving it a white field, let me make this maybe light blue or turquoise. I'll copy the code, Control C, select this, hold Shift. When you select more than one item, you hold Shift. I'll go to the field, paste it there. All right, so you can see that I've connected this from the source to the destination, right? Next thing I'll do again, I'll click on that one. Okay, this curve is looking too much for me. You can adjust the curve if you want. So if I want to adjust the curve, I'll come to this corner radius. It's set to 24 right now. I'll click on it and yes, I'm going to make it, let's say 16. See that it has reduced the curve. If I reduce it to 8, see what's going to happen. So depending on what you want to do is at your own discretion, right? Let's work with 8. So I'll just press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I've duplicated this guy. What I'll do next is I'll take this source and bring it to this place. I see the duplicated connector. When you duplicate, it's going to take the original corner radius. I'll change it again to 8. If you want to work with 16, it's up to you. I'll press Ctrl C and Ctrl V again to paste. The reason why we're doing Ctrl C and Ctrl V is because we are not working from FigJam, right? If it was FigJam, I'll just go to that connector tool again and connect it like that. But because we are working outside FigJam, that's why I'm just copying and duplicating that stuff. So I'll make it 8. I think 16 is even fine. Let's do 8. Ctrl Z. Let's work with 8. All right, you see how it's working, right? Then I'll do Ctrl C and Ctrl V again. Then I'll select the connector and bring it here. You see what just happened? So I've done my main category. Okay, main one, that's the profile. I'll select that one again, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Then I'll put it like that, change this to 8. All right, so we've done our main category. So the subcategory for, I hope they don't take this light though. It's raining here. All right, so the subcategory, I'll just highlight them and bring them somewhere like this. So for the home, we'll have something like, let me duplicate this. So for the home, we'll have something like for the rider, set up pickup location, request a ride. You understand? Set up pickup location. Or yes, request ride, REQUEST. Set up. Then which other thing can be, if you are following what I'm doing, can you just suggest? Somebody is asking if you can't do Control D. You can try it. Feel free. There's no harm in exploring. You can try Control D. So we have request ride. I'm not close to my phone. I would have checked all of these things. I know if you want to book ride, you can set location. You can set where you are going to. I can't remember all of that. Let's do maybe rating or something. I can't remember the screens right now. Okay, let me see what I have. Under home page, we have request ride, set up, ride suggestion, recent ride. These are possible. I have my list and I'm cracking my head. Even if my list is not correct, I'll use my list as a guide. Recent ride. Which other thing do I have? Right, suggestion. Of course, they will suggest drivers to you, right? RIDESUGGESTION. Suggestions. You can put this inside like that and keep it in the middle. It's already almost 8 o'clock. I'll just do for home and authentication, and I will allow you guys do the rest. So how do we link authentication to all of this? You understand? I think from sign up, that's where we'll get this OTP. So I will bring this one up. I'll select this, select this, select this, and I'll take this one up. But because OTP will be after login, after sign up, right? I will shift this one inside. This is another subcategory. This one was shifting it inside because it's subcategory, right? So it's from this screen you go to this screen. For login, after login, it takes you to the home page, right? So no other thing on that except, okay, for login, you can have forget password. This is how many? 102. So forget password can be under login, right? Because it takes you to another screen. Then yes, okay, this works. So I'll just link this now. I'll get my stuff again. I'll click on this one that is free. Control C, come over here, right click, paste here. Oh no, no need to use that one. I've already formatted this guy. So let me keep working with this one and formatted. I'll control C this one, come here, right click and paste it. Okay, that's it there. So I'll just put it here like that, then take the source. So it's all about moving this thing to how you want it to be. This is set to 24. I'll do it as usual, right? So for my sign up screen, I'll control C again, control V. Then I'll take to this place, login. I will move this one here, this purple. You can see this purple node, right? It's for you to adjust your stuff to where you want. It's not lapping well. Do you know why? That's because of the corner radius. So I'm going to make this 8. So you see that it has lapped, right? So this sign up, I'll control C this, control C, control V. I'll from the sign up, I'll move to OTP. Make this 8. Then from login, I can control C that and V there, control V, collect the source, bring it under login, then collect the destination to forgot password. So this is how you link your designs, right? To make it easy for you, it's unlike your user flow that you're just going forward like snake, like this. Bam, bam, bam. No, no, no. Just put all the main categories, then put the subcategories under, right? Main categories, subcategories under. So even under authentication, we can have onboarding screens when you are signing up. So I can duplicate this guy with alternate, bring it down like that, then do Control V of this connector, Control C and Control V, then take the source. Don't let the Control C and V confuse you. So I'll call this onboarding, OMBOARD. You can see that, right? So I've gotten for my authentication, right? Let's now do for write request. So depending on how you want to structure your application, like I said, the goal of this thing is just to show your stakeholders what your application will look like in real time, right? And yes, hierarchy, amazing, amazing. Hierarchy works. So set it according to the hierarchy and you do main category and subcategory, right? All these things can also be iterated. Design has to do with iteration. You understand? Maybe when you present this to your stakeholder, they'll be like, okay, why not we add so so and so? You go and add it like that. That's how it works. But as long as you can bring out the structure, you are good to go. So let's do for the next one, which is home. I'll just select this connector, this first one, Control C, Control V. I'll take the source, I mean the destination and the source. I'll just keep it under here like this. So the connector just is flexible, right? Takes note of the middle on either side, whether this side or this side. Then it connects it. I'm working with 8 corner radius. I'll change that from 24. You understand? If you want to give it dotted lines, you can come here. I've done this before. You select dash, and that's how it works. So whatever works for you, you get. I'll use dotted line here so that you can see how it looks like. I'll Control C this, Control C, Control V, and I take it to the pickup. Then I'm going to adjust this guy, like bring it here, then take this one up like that, and make it 8. Does not lap though. Control Z. Okay, I think it's lapping now. Same here. So you see how it works, right? So I'll do for Control C, Control V. I'll do for this guy, set it to 8 corner radius. I'll Control C, Control V. If you are following me, type Control C, Control V. If you are following what I'm doing, type Control C, Control V. If you are following, type Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Oh my God. Are you following? Somebody is laughing. Control C, it means you are following me. So this is how you do your designs, right? And we are good to go. You get, so you can see my information. We cover 3 things in this class. First of all, we'll talk about what information architecture is, and I was glad most of you asked the question about the difference between information architecture and user flow. Which I've clarified in the class, right? And I said information architecture has to do with the structure of the screens, while user flow has to do with the entire flow, which includes actions, decisions, screens, and directions, right? So, but for information architecture, we're working with just the structure of the screen. And that's what we have here. Because of time, I'm not going to do the remaining one, but I've shown you how to get your connector from FigJam. Go to your interface, your home page on Figma, open FigJam, right? Create your connector, copy it, paste it on your Figma Canva. Then you put these guys on auto layout, right? And you come up with, remember, you should have listed all these things, right? The main categories and the subcategories under it. Okay, look at this ride process now. We have ride confirmation, live tracking, driver details, and all of that. Cancel ride. I couldn't do all of this because of time, but that's just what we have, right? I hope this makes sense. Not Control C, Control D, oh, Mustafa. It's Control C, Control V. C is for copy, V is for paste. So without further ado, I think that'll be all for today. If you have questions, drop it in the comment section. Let me quickly answer. If I end the live session, it means every other question will be answered in the WhatsApp group, right? Everything is well understood, and we have our Figma, our information architecture. It's not a big deal. Remember, for those of us that joined from the beginning, we'll use this one. We're preparing our case study, right? And once you've successfully structured this, we can now start designing our interface. Rain is falling. I have to go now. Thank you for staying to the end. Our next class is going to be about wireframes, low fidelity wireframe. There are sketches, but we'll skip the sketches because of time to work on wireframes. Thank you very much for staying to the end. You guys are awesome. I wish you all the best. Bye.